right, we are live. Let me get Kara in here. We are live. Welcome to the Getting Past the Gatekeeper podcast, where every Thursday at 3 Eastern, Tim, Madden, and Kara Dennison share tactics and strategies with you live. So maybe you're watching the Facebook group. If you are, let us know in the comments below. And hey, each week we show you how to navigate the current job market to land your dream job. And if you don't know us, my name's Tim Madden. For the past decade, I've been a seasoned headhunter that has placed quite a lot of people and seen every single way this process can go bad. And we're here to make sure that you avoid it. Kara, tell people who you are.
Awesome. So I am Kara Dennison. I have spent my career as a corporate recruiting leader and HR professional. I've overseen 150,000 resumes. I've reviewed them. I've seen a lot of placements as well. And since joining Tim last year at Executive Career Upgrades, we've been responsible for over $7 million of salary increases with our awesome clients. You may have seen us in a couple of different places, such as ABC, NBC, Fox News, all these other great places, and in the fastest growing network on Facebook. We just hit over 1,500 people, and we've only been open on Facebook for 2 months. So hey, welcome. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Which means if you're in a job search, right? If you're in a job search right now and you aren't networking with other people in this group, if you're in the Facebook group, right? Something's wrong. Okay. We literally have 1,500 directors, VPs, and executives from across the country who, Kara, do you think these people need to hire good people?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Even in Q4.
Especially
which is what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Why Q4 is the best time to get hired, despite what everyone's going to tell you. Okay. We're going to get into that in just a second because we're approaching, hey, it's October 15th right now. We have, just a little under 90 days to make this happen, which is the typical time, engage in a job search. If you know what you're doing, right? So hopefully you've been following us. Hey, before we get started though, I just wanted to post something with the group, right? We always try to do comments and stuff. And I do know recently we held a masterclass. We're probably going to be holding one. Don't hold us to it, but probably about 30 more days. But more specifically, I think her name, Chantel, said, this week has been one of the most productive of my job search so far. I took the advice of the masterclass and started doing my best to figure out who in these companies I applied for that I needed to contact to really get a hold of people who can actually hire me. I've had 2 phone screens in the last couple of days, and I'm being scheduled for interviews. The number of views on my LinkedIn profile has jumped. I try to be more active with posts on relevant topics. Good job. You probably watched one of our previous sessions. Fingers crossed, calls this week. So far, sounds very promising. Chantel, that is amazing.
So cool.
Congratulations. And hey, if you didn't attend our training, by the way, you can actually click the link below. It's 60 minutes. You can watch it at any time. The way we have it set up is the replay goes, I think it's like every 15 minutes, or you can schedule out a time later. So I dropped that in the link. If you haven't seen that and you're in a search, watch that. So that's just awesome that people are utilizing these tips. So before we get started too, inside this masterclass, we put the 5 most important things in the job search that you need to be aware of. So again, if you're engaged in that, check that out. So while we get started, somebody explain this to me. So if you think, and by the way, if you're watching live, comment, ask us your question. If maybe it's a replay, put that you're watching the replay. Okay, I'm getting off track now. So Q4. If a company needs a director of information technology and they don't have one right now, if they don't have a VP of sales overseeing the Western hemisphere of sales professionals and other directors, do you really think a company wants to wait until next year?
Yeah.
What do you think, Kara?
They're just going to wait. They're going to probably let all the processes just kind of decay and be broken.
We don't need anyone to manage those sales teams.
Not at all.
We don't need that new infrastructure. We don't need our manufacturing leaned up. We don't need a VP of human resources. That's not a big deal, I assure you, okay? These companies need these people.
Especially at this director, VP, exec level. When it comes to key positions, it doesn't matter what time of year. If it's a critical need, they're going to be hiring.
But we don't have the budget. I assure you. they will come up with the budget. I've seen this so many times, right? How many of you guys, if you've ever negotiated your salary, have you ever get more than you thought you did? Okay, let me ask you a question. Have you ever paid more for a house than you thought you would because of your budget? Have you ever bought a car out of your budget? Have you ever went out to eat and you know you didn't have money for it, but you did it anyway? These are the same people running these organizations. And if they need someone, okay, they're going to hire them. Now, very important though, if you can't show your value of why they can hire you, they won't.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
It's up to you. You have a lot more, processes, or not. You have a lot more power than you think you do. Mm-hmm. But if you don't know how to handle it, you're probably not going to get hired. Okay. So go ahead, Karen.
That's exactly what we were talking about last week on our podcast, is that a lot of times, if you don't know how to control this process, you don't know what to say in these interviews, and you don't know how to lock down next steps, it doesn't matter what time of year it is, what quarter it is, they're not going to hire you. You have to make sure that you have a blueprint to follow, strategies that are proven to work, and you know how to control this process. So that's just something that we're going to preach no matter what. But yeah, let's talk about some of the reasons why Q4 is the best time to get hired, contrary to probably what you believe. Let's talk about budgets.
So number one, hey, perhaps the greatest myth surrounding Q4 hiring slumps, as people interpret, even though it's not true. And by the way, I come from a headhunting background. Let me be the first to tell you, most of the slowest months for me was in the summer. These were always predominant, months for us to place hiring because of this whole budget thing. Most companies, people think that they've blown their annual budgets, however, or that they've maxed out, etc. Okay. There's many reasons. How many companies haven't done their budget? How many companies know that if they don't spend their budget, they're not going to get the same next year? How many people are trying to get additional tax breaks by hiring people, right? Now is the best time, right, to get a leg up on your competition, which is what we're going to talk about too. I assure you, back to this, and then Kara will go over the next one, right? Whether they've spent their budget or have their budget, these key roles, right? If you're watching this, if you're a director, VP, exec, they need you. But if they don't know who you are, I assure you they won't hire you. What's the next one, Kara?
So they're going to want to start their year strong, right? I mean, especially after this year, right? 2021 is a new chapter for every single department and for their company. And so they want to make sure that they're going to be able to ramp up and get going. And so what job have you ever gone into where you hit the ground running on day one? There's an onboarding period, right? So you got to learn the product, you got to learn the company, the culture, your team, your boss, your whatever it is, right? And so a lot of times companies love to use this time between Thanksgiving and the holidays at the end of the year to bring someone on, use that slow time on their calendar to really onboard you in order to really ramp up for January 1, so that at that point in the new year, you're hitting the ground running and not doing that onboarding when things are really ramping up for them in the new year. So this is a perfect time, and people are looking for that, not only for their budget, to use that so they don't lose that budget in the next year, but to get you up to speed so that in January you can be at full throttle.
And here's another thing real quick too, when we're talking about starting the new year strong. As these senior leaders are at Thanksgiving, Memorial Day, Labor Day, Halloween, Christmas, as they have more time to reflect outside of their business, this stuff is weighing on them, man. It's weighing on them. Because when do we think about stuff? When we have time. During the day, when you're involved in your work and you're trying to put out fires and stuff, it's really hard to focus on that. But when you have time to reflect, even when you're with family, I assure you, they need a VP of sales, man, they're thinking about it. And they're like, man, why haven't I been able to find a guy, right? Another thing is this. This is the best time of the year to get hired. Do you know why? Every single person, new year, new me, no one hires in Q4. I'm going to wait till Q1. Do you want to leg up on your competition? Okay. The biggest misconception is that hardly any companies are doing it because of XYZ reasons. If you wait until January, no one's going to read your resume. No one's going to read your profile. Everyone's going to be trying to connect with everyone. And it's going to be super hard to set yourself apart from the crowd. So do yourself a favor. If you're in a search right now, you need to get serious about it. Because if you're going to let these next 60, 75 days go by where you don't do anything, you're going to meet significant competition when it comes to January.
Yeah.
Just start.
Think about New Year's resolutions, right? I mean, the best time to go sign up for a new gym membership is going to be right around this time too, because once January hits, everyone's like, I want to lose weight. I want to go back to the gym. And you can't even get a freaking treadmill once you go in January, right? So it's the same thing when January hits. Everyone's waking up on January 1st. I'm miserable at my job. It's a new year. 2020 is over. I want a new job. I want a new chapter. So the applicant tracking systems are going to be way more flooded. Every single decision maker is going to be flooded on LinkedIn, but right now it's slow. No, everyone else is thinking that they're not hiring. And so you need to have an edge up on your competition by hitting it now because it's low.
Exactly, Kara. Exactly. And faster hiring processes. If you wait till January and you won't or 4 months later, just because they have so much stuff going on, they're interviewing all these people. Your competition is less right now, so there's faster hiring processes. Could you benefit from a speedier hiring process? Right? No one's getting in front of these decision makers right now, so now's a vital time. Okay. And even if companies aren't hiring until the first quarter, because let me be the first to tell you, some companies might tell you that. Now is the time to build a relationship with them so that when they are hiring, guess what? Let's not spend $600 to post it on LinkedIn, how much money to post it on Indeed, on Monster, on Exec Jobs. Let me go ahead and spend $5,000, right? Hey, we already got this guy named Jerry and he networked with the VP of sales. He'd be a good candidate. Let's just bring him in. And then guess what? You're not competing with anybody.
And let's think about it now too. It's the holidays. People are feeling a little bit more cheerful and their calendars are a little bit lighter too because they've got some time off with the holidays coming and things like that as well. Things are typically, depending on the industry, a little bit slower. So now is the perfect time because most people are going to be a little bit more apt to want to network with you and have the time to connect with you and have those conversations. So if no one else is doing it and you're doing it, you're the one getting in front of them. So absolutely, now is definitely the time, whether or not they have a position.
Mm-hmm. And what we're seeing right now from people in our coaching program, it's actually pretty easy to get connected with people and get time on their calendar.
100%.
Okay. Because now it's just a slower time of the year for some businesses. So it's just easier to get a hold of people. So if you're not doing that, you need to do that. And what's one of the other reasons, Kara? What's the last reason about this?
Yeah.
This one's actually pretty funny.
Yeah. So this is kind of interesting. If your company or most companies typically have a performance review cycle that is annual or cyclical like that, right? So most of the time you have your conversation at the beginning of the year. Well, your manager is going to be thinking about your performance review right now. Not saying you, but that's what's happening across companies right now. I know because I implemented a performance management software system at my last company, and I helped managers start thinking about who right now is working in your team. What would you be rating them and who's not working? Let's start talking about a workforce planning situation. Who would you need to come in and make your team better? Who are
See, Kara right now is being nice to you, okay? Kara's being nice to you because she comes from a human resources background. Mm-hmm. Me from the headhunting background, let me make it very easy for you. People are getting fired. People are getting fired. Some people are just not cutting it and they're being let go. It is what it is.
Okay? Exactly. So what's happening is a lot of times with the performance management, they're realizing because they have to put it down on paper that I can't keeping Jerry. We're just going to use him again. Sorry, anyone named Jerry. Can't keep floating Jerry anymore because now it's going to be put down on paper and I'm going to be held accountable to it. So I got to get rid of them. And so what are they going to be thinking? Oh, crap, now I have no one. This is the perfect opportunity to be connecting with them so that you can show your value and solve the challenges that Jerry's not freaking, solving at now. So this is a perfect time with all of these things that we just mentioned to be getting in front of decision makers.
And here's another thing too, back to this performance review thing. If you're targeting a mid-sized organization or a large organization, right? They probably have several directors of whatever you do. Directors of finance, directors of accounting, directors of sales, directors of account management, all of these different things. And just think, if they have 20, say you live in Dallas, Texas, right? If they have 20 directors of finance, right? Maybe a large organization, maybe 5 directors of finance for a medium size or what have you, right? Do you think one of them's getting fired in the next 90 days? Do you think one of them's being headhunted from a headhunter like me? Do you think someone's spouse is going to get a better job and she's going to move? Okay. Network right now. Okay. Get people to know you for opportunities that are available and opportunities that are not yet available. If you're in this group and you wait until January, we're going to simply say, we told you so. Okay. So don't do that to yourself. Who wants to have an edge on competition when they're in hiring? Dude, I don't want to compete with anyone, man. Who would rather not compete with anyone? Raise your hand. Start your job search now. Okay. A lot of people, Thanksgiving's up. I'm flying back to family and then I'm doing it with Christmas and this. I'll wait till Q1. What about your dreams right now? What about that bonus you deserve? What about the job you're in that you hate? You're really going to put this off? Make it easier for yourself. So let's really talk about how do you have a plan if you want to get started and you really don't know where to start. Let's just break these steps down with you, okay? Number 1, just like we said in the masterclass, we'll be brief though. Number 1, believe you can do it. Before your resume, before networking, before I don't know what to say, I don't know how to talk about money. Do you believe right here, do you believe right here that you can do it? Yeah. Do you have confidence that you are due for that promotion? You are worth more money. You are worth a company that appreciates you more. Step 1 is believe. Number 2, what are you targeting? Okay, get specific. What are you specifically targeting? Are you trying to work remote? Are you trying to move? Are you trying to stay where you're at? What industry are you trying to do? Does your resume and LinkedIn highlight your successes and accomplishments on why someone would hire you? So many people start working with us and say, yeah, I already tried to message people on LinkedIn, Kara. No one wants to talk to me. Well, it's probably your branding. It's probably what you're saying. It's probably many different aspects. And number 2, do you have a plan when you get on these networking calls and these interviews? If you don't have a plan, do you think you're going to be motivated to do it? If you haven't practiced, do you think you're going to be motivated to do it? Probably not. Do you know how to have a conversation about salary? I know I'm overwhelming you right now, but hey, welcome to a job search. I click approve for everyone who joins this group every day. And do you know what I consistently see? I don't know how to network. I don't know how to interview. I don't know where to start. I don't know this and I don't know this. You have to know this stuff to get the job and money that you deserve in the marketplace. This is a different skill. It doesn't matter if you're very successful at sales, very successful at you have to have this plan.
A lot of times people think, man, if I just had the right resume, it'll get to the right person and I'll get the job. It's not just one thing. It is all of the things that Tim just mentioned. You have to have a plan and you have to make sure that you're executing on that plan strategically all the way from the top to the bottom. And it really does truly start with your mindset, and it is everything all together, stitched together. I highly, highly suggest, just like Chantel said at the beginning, start with our masterclass. We go into these 5 steps in great depth. Start there. Start with a plan and start now. Don't wait until January.
Please don't wait. So, hey, we come to you. Anything else you want to add, Kara?
I think that's it.
So let's go ahead and wrap up what we talked about, right? We talked about Q4. Companies are hiring. Now's the best time to get hiring. Forget about budgets. I don't care if they're under budget, over budget. A budget isn't get approved. By the way, we just someone's in the final rounds right now. He's flying out to Pennsylvania. Good luck, buddy. We'll keep him anonymous for now. But guess what? They didn't have the budget either. So what did the CEO do? He made a budget, right? Okay, so don't worry about budgets, okay? Start the new year strong. A lot of people want to hire people right now because they have challenges and they want to onboard you so they're prepared for the next year. You will have a leg up on your competition if you do it right now. You will have a faster hiring process right now, more than likely. And another reason is those performance reviews. People, leaders in organizations right now are saying, hey, who do we keep and who do we cut? Okay. So whether there's not positions open, just know that people are getting cut. Right? Now's your opportunity to set yourself apart from everyone else, right? And now's the time to do it.
And finally, do it strategically, do it smart. If you need help, just let us know. We're happy to help.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, every Thursday at 3 Eastern, we come to you live inside the Facebook group on YouTube and a couple more podcasts where we talk about how to get past the gatekeeper, right? Everything career related so we can set you guys up with the plan. If there's maybe a topic you'd like us to touch on for next week, go ahead and put it in the comments, send us an email, DM us on Facebook, right? We're always available. And we wish all you guys the best of luck in, we know, your career search in Q4. Absolutely. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.